Hi, and welcome to this conversation with my dear friend Kirsi Li Wahlström. My name is Karina Lade. I'm an intuitive channel and mentor for mostly female entrepreneurs all over the world. And today I wanted to share this conversation with my friend Kirsi Li about my sacred feminine retreat in Provence that I did in 2023 in September. And something that I really love about these types of conversations is to discover what someone else experienced in order to see kind of how things panned out for them, what the obstacles and gifts were. So that if you're feeling called to join one of my retreats in the south of France, you know if this is going to resonate with you or not. So, welcome, Kirsi Lee. I'm so glad to have this conversation with you. And I would love for you to introduce yourself if someone doesn't know you already.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be able to talk about my experience about the retreat. And for those that don't know me, I'm living in the north of Sweden on the beautiful countryside. And I'm also an entrepreneur, coaching soulpreneurs and women that wants to live lives from inside out. But during the last couple of years, I've also been challenged by severe health issues. So that's also kind of a part of what I came in with uh, into the retreat.
Thank you for sharing. And Kirsi Lee and I have met. So I'm Swedish, and so is Kirsi Lee, although I live in France. And we've met a few times in real life, actually, before you joined the retreat. So I went to see you for the first time at one of your events in the north of Sweden. Amazing experience. And it was great to spend some time with you and your family and some of your clients. And then you came over to France, and then we went on this retreat together. And so something I would love to know is why did you choose to come to this retreat at this time? What was it that called you or drew you in where you're like, I have to do this?
Well, I do think there were several things. One of them was for sure that we would step into the footsteps of Mary Magdalene. I've been drawn to read and learn about her also during the last years or so. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to experience, as you had put into your program that we would visit her cave, and also, just connect with the sacred feminine and sacred sites. And I know that's very powerful to do, not just like a tourist, but in an intentional way. So that was one of the things. But also, I've been to Provence once earlier in my 20s, and I really felt at home there. There was something that in the atmosphere, in the light, in the um, area that felt like home to me. So um, maybe symbolically, it was something calling me home to myself, I believe. And also the way that you had written, and I know that you so, deliver what you intend to, with a very um, a circle where you can be yourself, you can relax and be held in love and in laughter, and with deep spirituality among other women that are longing for that same kind of connection. So yeah, there were many things that called me.
Hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? The things that we feel like our souls were really calling us to certain places at certain times. And it's like we understand some of it, and some of it's going to be like something we discover when we arrive. I would love for you to share a bit, if you feel comfortable, because I know sometimes when we feel a call, to go somewhere or to do something. It feels great. We say yes, we step into it, and then often I feel like it's inevitable. Part of the journey is also to have fears or obstacles come up, whether it's like inner things or inner obstacles or practical obstacles or whatever it can be. That kind of tests us in a way, like, are you really committed to going? And so if you feel comfortable sharing maybe some of your like biggest fears around, or fears or obstacles or things that were a bit challenging for you, um, in order to say yes to this retreat.
Yeah, as you say, there is always with this kind of a journey and investment, there are fears arising. And for me, also, since I've been in a place of fatigue, I wasn't sure if I would, have the enough energy to participate, uh, enough money. Would I even have the energy to make the journey from Sweden to Provence, where you then would, take care of us, but it's still quite of a journey beforehand. So those were my main fears, and you can't really solve them before you say yes.
Yeah, so true.
So when I had said yes, uh, to myself, I hadn't booked myself yet, because one of my worries were actually to, go to Paris, have to find the train, and find a train to go to Provence, even though in my normal state it wouldn't be a problem. But since I have the fatigue, it was, an obstacle. But then I learned that one of my colleagues from the north of Sweden that I know and cherish had already booked herself, and she had all the flights, all the train numbers. So she just handed them to me, and I could book easily, and we got to journey together, and it was so much fun to be able to do that, and so much easier than to try to do it myself. So that was one great experience, that if you really step into a yes, the solutions for your fears also kind of, you know, shows themselves.
Yeah, I love how that worked out. Where you're like, it would be great if I could travel with someone, and I was like, well, actually, there is something coming. Also, like on exactly from like traveling through the part where you live, which isn't always the case. And I love how kind of life, when we're meant to do something, even if there are obstacles and sometimes they feel impossible, um, things show up and opportunities come to us. And I feel like it's kind of like signs that we're held and we're supported on this, which I also feel is a good kind of sign that we're on the right path, because usually when we're choosing something that isn't right for us, doors close, things don't work out, they fall apart, like it becomes very challenging. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's a really good kind of test to know if am I really meant to do this.
Mm.
Wonderful. And so I would love to know now, looking back a few months later, what do you feel were the biggest gifts from this journey? Like, what were the biggest gifts that you feel that you received from this time together?
Oh, there were so many gifts too, and more than I could have ever imagined. Um, it was like stepping into the field where you have access to your higher self, to synchronicities, to um, guidance in a way that you really can't bring up by yourself, but to step into this sacred circle, to connect to these sacred sites, and to journey together and be guided by your meditations and everything. It just opened up that field. So I had a lot of uh, guidances guidance from, for my way forward. that is still unfolding, but it's, a path showing that I wouldn't have imagined myself. So it's kind of exciting and scary and lovely and everything. Um, and so that's for sure one of the biggest gifts for me, that I'm still, working on several months later. Um, but also just a gift of beauty. Beauty is something that's very important to me. I mean, we lived in a beautiful house, just it's so nourishing. We ate beautifully presented food. We ate at beautiful sites, or in the garden at our house. Um, the beauty and art exhibitions we visited, and in the in nature, or in the beautiful little town we went to. So beauty, I can still like tap into it, and nourish myself from the experience now many months later. So that was for sure also one of the gifts for me. And of course, the women and the sacred circle and the laughters, and also just to be held by both you and Olivier, your husband, to have both the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine in a way, and your lightheartedness, and your depths, that opened up so much within us, and what we co-created together. It was just something that, when you have experienced it and been part of it, it's just a imprint in you that will be there forever.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, it was such a special circle. And I feel like it was so beautiful to see everyone's gifts and everyone's guidance and intuition, and just be like woven together in such an organic way, because we hadn't all met before. Everything was new. We were in a new place, all of these things. And then it was just, it was as if magic, right? Where you would bring something, someone else would bring something else. And then together we created something really beautiful and magical and whole. And I feel like it's like you said, it's like one of these experiences that stay with you. And we've all stayed in touch, and we have our WhatsApp group, and so we share things since we got home. And I feel like it's so great, because I feel like we all keep tapping into that, and we keep feeling supported by that space, because it goes way beyond the time we spend together. But there is something special about being together in a physical place for a whole week, because you do have time to let it sink in. You have time to have the great guidance, and then the next day feel all the fear and be surrounded by support, right? And then feel amazing again and celebrate with your soul sisters, and then have fears come up. Like, it's like being held through the whole process. Because
Mm.
sometimes when you're online, it's like you have time, but it's not the continuing kind of experience for so long, which is really kind of lush and nourishing, isn't it? To be like held like that, and with everyone being so welcoming and open and warm. It felt very organic and balanced, and how we all kind of held each other and received each other and were held at the same time.
Yeah, it was truly beautiful. And um, yeah, one of the gifts that opened up for me and was to, sing with the group. So we did some toning, and even though I have been doing that earlier in my life, it was very, very special to do it in these places that we did, and everyone was so open to try it out, and it became quite a magical thing. And others' contributions, yeah, it was just weaving something magical together. And also that I loved that there was a space where you could just withdraw and be with yourself, go to sit by the pool and have a swim, or lay in the room and just calibrate everything. And so yeah, it was such a beautiful mix of things.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's really important to also have space to ourselves, because sometimes when we're with others and they're amazing and you love the connections, it can get, we don't have much time to process, right? And let things integrate and hear our own thoughts without anyone else's feedback or anything like that. And that's one of the reasons why I love having, like, for everyone to have their own room and their own space. And the house is really big, so there's like plenty of pretty places where you can sit and write or meditate or take a nap or something, which is really important too, because I feel like often we're so busy and we have a lot of interactions with other people. So it's great to just kind of be at your own pace and to practice asking for what you want and withdrawing when you feel like you need it, not feeling like you have to be everywhere and do everything all the time, which is so nice, isn't it? To just be like, have your own space.
Yeah, no one had any expectations on each other, having to be social or do this or that. Um, so yeah, uh, it was lovely. And still, we did want to hang out, so that was good too.
You
A
did.
lot of laughter and sharing things that came up. So yeah, so nourishing. I believe. I think there aren't many spaces for this kind of deep diving, you could say, that's still mixed with, just being an ordinary human with its beauty and messiness.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Like in a space where you can have like really deep spiritual conversations, and at the same time talk about silly things and just laugh. I mean, we laughed so much during that week. And then
Yeah.
we also cried. And
Yeah,
like
we tried some too.
everything, which, like you said, we don't really, and I feel like we don't necessarily take that much time for that either. Because this is like a whole week. I don't remember the last time I took a whole week to just be held in a space like that.
Yeah. So I can warmly recommend anyone who feels the call, uh, at least, book a call with Karina and talk about it, talk about the fears that's coming up. I mean, you helped me to see some of the things that was, kind of icky when I had the decision to make, will I go or not? So, yeah, or if you just know it in your heart, you just book your space.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Just do
Kirsten.
it. I just do it. I can't say anything else. you know.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, sometimes we just know. And a
Mm,
few of the women were like, I don't know you. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm in, which I think
yeah,
is great. And I kind of do those things too. And
yeah.
like you said, if anyone wants to book a call with me, please do. It's not going to be like, I don't do any sleazy sales calls. Like,
No, you
I'm
don't.
genuinely want to know if it fits, because for some people it's the right time and for some it's not, and I totally respect that. And we all want everyone who's coming
Yeah,
to feel like this is the right thing for me right
yeah,
now. So
yeah. So yeah, you can rest assured that you won't be pushed into anything if you book a call with Karina. You're super mindful about it being right for everyone. Because if it isn't, it won't be the great retreat. So yeah,
no, no, thank you so much. Yes, and that's why people, like everyone who feels called, um we will meet for a 20-minute call just to check in so that you get a feel for if this is right for you, if I'm right for you, and then the same for me. Because I feel like when I feel the group coming together, I imagine everyone being in circle, and it has to be like a clear yes. And it doesn't mean if I've never met the person before and they never met me. It's definitely has to click, right? And I feel like when we do that, we create the best groups, and
mhm,
there's a no hesitation that
mhm.
this is the group of women who are going to come together. So yeah, definitely book a call and let's talk.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Kirsi Li, for your time,
Thank
and for
you.
this. And it was so amazing to spend a whole week in Provence with you.
Yeah, and I'm a bit jealous of those coming next. Not only a bit, quite a lot. So
Yeah, it's like we want
we're
to do it
cheering
again,
you on.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be so magical. I'm so excited to get to do this again and go back to the house. And oh, so dreamy. And also, I am doing another retreat in October in the south of
Yeah.
Western France. So, and I think there will be more. Don't know yet, but this feels like everything's just kind of falling into place. So I'm just going with the flow. And yeah, it's so lovely. And I feel like many of us crave and long for in-person experiences to be together. I feel like it gives us so much hope and inspiration and that sense of like we're actually connected and we can create things together. So,
Yeah, I love the theme for the October retreat as well, you know, with the sacred union between the feminine and masculine. I think it's so needed in these times. So, you know, if Provence isn't calling you, maybe it's the October retreat. Who knows?
yeah. Thank you so much, Kirsi Li. And thanks to everyone watching this. Get in touch if you have any questions. And I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.